A single clue, a silent room, and Rex frozen in place, ears up, eyes locked like he senses something no one else can. In Season 8, Episode 8 of Hudson and Rex, everything begins with this moment. A moment that turns a simple call-out into one of the most intense cases the Major Crimes Unit has faced this year. This is the episode where hidden secrets rise to the surface, where danger grows behind quiet footsteps, and where Hudson must trust Rex more than ever before. Even when the evidence seems to disagree, Season 8, Episode 8 doesn't waste a single moment. The story opens on a cold evening in St. John's, with the wind pushing across the empty streets like a warning. A security alarm echoes in the distance, and officers respond to what seems like a simple break-in at an old warehouse. But the place feels wrong from the start. Inside, the lights flicker, the air is dusty, and the silence feels almost staged, like someone wanted the police to find something. But not everything. Rex steps into the room first, his paws tapping softly against the concrete floor. He moves slow, scanning the space with a focus that only Hudson truly understands. Hudson follows behind him, flashlight cutting across the walls, revealing boxes, old tools, and scattered footprints. But Rex stops suddenly. He holds his position, staring at a dark corner where no one else is looking. This is the first sign that the night is about to take a turn. Something is hidden here. Something important. Hudson lowers himself beside Rex, trusting the dog's instincts. And that's when he sees it, a small metal box half buried under a broken shelf. The box is scratched, dented, and strangely warm, like it was touched only moments ago. Hudson opens it carefully, expecting stolen goods or cash. Instead, he finds something far stranger, a single USB drive wrapped in a piece of cloth marked with a symbol he doesn't recognize. A symbol that looks less like graffiti and more like a message. The warehouse isn't just the scene of a break-in, it's the start of something bigger. Something planned. The police weren't meant to stop a robbery tonight. They were meant to discover this clue. Just as Hudson pockets the USB, a loud crash shakes the far end of the building. Rex growls softly, alert and ready. Hudson signals for backup, but before anyone can reach the source of the noise, a shadowy figure darts out through a side exit. Rex leaps forward, but Hudson calls him back. Too risky, too early, too many unknowns. They chase outside only to find empty streets, cold air, and no sign of the person who was clearly watching them. The team regroups, confused. Why break in only to leave something behind? Why wait for the police to arrive? And who leaves a clue unless they want to send a message? Back at headquarters, Sarah begins analyzing the USB while Charlie tries to match the symbol to known groups or older cases. Everything feels connected, but no one can point to how. Rex keeps pacing around the table as if the answer is close, just not close enough to touch. The tension in the room grows heavier as they realize this isn't just a case. It's a challenge. Episode 8 sets the tone fast. Someone is playing a dangerous game, and they've chosen Hudson and Rex as their first move. The team must stay sharp. Every clue matters. Every sound in the background could be a warning. And Rex senses something more than danger. He senses that this case is personal. That's the power of this episode's opening. It throws the audience into a mystery that feels alive, shifting, and unpredictable. And as Hudson looks at Rex, he knows one thing for certain: this won't be a normal investigation. This is only the beginning. The deeper the team looks into the strange warehouse break-in, the clearer it becomes that nothing about this case is normal. The USB drive found in the metal box becomes the center of everyone's attention. Sarah plugs it into a secure computer, expecting files, images, or some kind of hidden folder. But instead, the screen glitches for a second, showing only a single video file with no title, no timestamp, and no metadata. It's almost like someone erased the identity of the file on purpose. The silence in the room thickens as the team watches the screen load. When the video finally plays, it reveals a dimly lit room with only one object in view: a chair tied down with thick ropes. No person, no voice, no message. Just a chair sitting in the middle of the room like a warning sign. Then, suddenly, a distorted audio tone plays, sharp enough to make everyone flinch. The video ends just as quickly as it began, leaving behind more questions than answers. Sarah tries to rewind, slow it down, enhance the lighting, anything, but nothing reveals more than what they saw. It feels like a teaser. A threat dressed as a clue. Hudson stands behind her, arms crossed, mind racing. Who sends a video of an empty chair? Is it a clue about a kidnapping? A crime waiting to happen? Or a message that something bigger is already in motion? Rex sits at Hudson's feet, eyes fixed on the screen like he's waiting for something to appear that only he can sense. His ears stay up, his posture tight. Even without words, Rex seems to recognize danger long before anyone else does. The symbol from the cloth becomes the next piece of the puzzle. Charlie begins digging through old databases, scanning old case files, graffiti records, gang symbols, and even underground groups from years back. Nothing matches completely, but one file catches his attention. It's a group that operated quietly several years ago, never arrested, never fully investigated, just whispered about in reports. A group known for sending taunting clues to the police before a crime took place. They had one rule: let the police watch, but never catch. Charlie explains that the group vanished without a trace years ago, but this symbol shares fragments of their style. Not a perfect match, but close enough to make the room tense. The idea that this group or someone inspired by them might be active again sends a chill through the unit. Hudson remembers stories from older detectives, stories about criminals who treated crime like a game. Criminals who always stayed one step ahead. Before the team can dig deeper, a new call comes in. A resident on the west side of town reports strange noises coming from an abandoned property. The caller thought it was animals at first, but then they heard something metallic, like something being dragged. The timing is suspicious. The warehouse break-in happened barely an hour earlier, and now another strange disturbance surfaces. Hudson doesn't believe in coincidences like this. He grabs his gear, Rex follows instantly, and the team heads out. The property is an old, rundown house with boarded windows and a collapsing porch. The place looks empty, almost forgotten, but Rex isn't convinced. The moment his paws hit the ground, he pulls toward the house with intense focus. Hudson lets him lead. Rex moves around the back, sniffing the dirt, the air, the broken boards, and then he stops at a cracked basement window. He growls softly. Hudson kneels, shining his flashlight inside, and sees something unsettling. Marks on the floor, like something heavy was dragged across it. Fresh marks, recent. Inside the basement, the air is thick and musty, the kind of air that hasn't moved for years. But the signs tell a different story. Footprints, rope fibers on the ground. A piece of torn fabric caught on a nail. Everything points to someone being there recently and leaving in a hurry. But the most important discovery sits in the corner, another metal box, identical to the one from the warehouse. Same size, same shape, same strange, warm touch like it was held moments ago. Hudson opens it carefully. Inside is a single photograph, printed in black and white. It's a picture of the same empty chair from the video. But this time there's something new. A blurred figure stands behind the chair, barely visible, face hidden, body turned slightly as if they didn't want to be seen yet, still wanted to appear. It's a message. A signature. A promise that the game has officially started. Rex sniffs the box repeatedly, tail stiff, nose twitching as he picks up a scent trail. Hudson watches him carefully. Rex rarely reacts this strongly unless the person they're looking for is close. And dangerous. The discovery of the second metal box changes everything. What started as a strange break-in now feels like a chain reaction. Someone is intentionally leaving breadcrumbs, and every clue pushes the team deeper into a calculated trap. Back at headquarters, the room fills with tension as they study the black and white photo. The blurred figure behind the chair feels like a shadow from a nightmare, always there, always watching, but never fully seen. The message is clear: I choose what you see. Charlie enhances the image, but the face remains impossible to identify. The figure is turned just enough that their identity stays hidden, like they practiced the pose. Hudson leans over the monitor, studying the shoulders, the posture, the angle of the arms. Something about the stance looks familiar, like a ghost from an old case. But every time he tries to place it, the memory slips away. Rex stands beside him, ears tilted forward, eyes locked on the screen. As if he can feel the presence of the person captured in the frame, then something unusual happens. Sarah connects the two boxes to check for fingerprints or matching materials. She finds nothing, no fingerprints, no smudges, not even dust. Whoever handled the boxes was careful, maybe wearing gloves, maybe using tools. But one detail stands out. The boxes aren't new. They're old models, discontinued years ago, used mostly for transporting evidence or sensitive items. This detail sparks a disturbing thought. Whoever is behind this might have access to police systems. Or worse, they might be a former insider. Hudson tries not to jump to conclusions, but the possibility lingers in the room like a cold draft. The symbol on the cloth, the empty chair video, the timed clues, none of this matches the behavior of a random criminal. This is someone who understands police procedure, someone who knows how investigations unfold. Before the team can follow that thread, a new twist emerges. A call comes in from a downtown parking garage. A car alarm was triggered, and security guards saw someone running from the scene. The report includes one detail that grabs Hudson's attention immediately. The suspect had something metallic under their jacket. That's all he needs to hear. He and Rex head out instantly. The parking garage is dim, echoing with the hum of fluorescent lights and the soft drip of leaking pipes. Rex pulls Hudson toward the far corner, where a group of parked cars casts heavy shadows across the concrete. There, under a truck, Rex finds something that makes Hudson's stomach tighten a third metal box. Exactly like the others. This time, however, the box isn't warm. It's cold, almost freezing, like it was left earlier. Before the suspect fled, Hudson opens it slowly, preparing for another photo or cryptic message. Instead, inside lies a small recorder. He presses play. A distorted voice fills the garage, crackling, static-filled, almost mechanical in tone. It says only one sentence: "You're following the wrong trail. But you're getting closer." The message ends abruptly. Hudson freezes, mind racing. How can the team be wrong and close at the same time? It feels like the voice is mocking them, controlling their movements the way a puppeteer controls strings. The voice also sounds digitally altered, making it impossible to tell if it belongs to a man, woman, or someone intentionally hiding every detail. Rex begins to bark sharply, pulling Hudson's attention to the opposite end of the garage. A figure darts out from behind a row of cars, sprinting toward the exit. Hudson calls for backup, but Rex bolts ahead, chasing the suspect. Their footsteps echo across the concrete, each step growing louder as Rex closes the gap. Just when it seems like Rex might catch up, the suspect throws something to the ground, a small metal canister that bursts into thick smoke. Rex coughs and slows down, and the figure slips into the stairwell, disappearing into the city's maze of streets. Hudson catches up, furious that they were so close. He checks Rex, making sure the smoke wasn't harmful. Rex shakes it off quickly, but his frustration is visible. His hunt was blocked on purpose again. Back at the station, the team pieces together the timeline. The suspect planted the box, triggered the alarm, and waited just long enough to lure Hudson and Rex into a chase they couldn't win. Every moment was choreographed. Every clue was placed exactly where the team would find it. This isn't a criminal running from the police. This is someone leading them. The biggest twist arrives when Sarah finally decrypts a fragment from the mysterious USB. It's not a video. It's a location. A set of coordinates pointing to a remote spot near the coast, an old lighthouse that hasn't been active for years. The lighthouse is isolated, surrounded by cliffs and crashing waves. A perfect place to hide. A perfect place to stage the next move. Hudson feels a shift in his gut. Everything about the clues, the voice recording, the shadow in the photo, it all feels intentional, personal. Someone wants Hudson and Rex at that lighthouse. Someone wants them alone. To head out. The weight of the mystery becomes heavier than ever. The twists have led to one chilling truth. This criminal isn't just playing a game. They're building a story piece by piece. And Hudson and Rex are being written into the center of it. The road to the old lighthouse feels longer than it should. The sky hangs heavy with thick clouds, the ocean wind pressing against the car as Hudson drives with a focus sharper than ever. Rex sits in the back seat, restless, shifting, looking out the windows as if he already senses what waits ahead. The coordinates found on the USB weren't random. They were a direct message. And Hudson knows that when a criminal leads you somewhere this intentionally, you're stepping into their world, not yours. When the team arrives, the lighthouse stands tall and silent, its paint peeling, its windows dark like empty eyes staring out over the water. Waves crash violently against the rocks below, sending mist into the air. The place feels abandoned, too quiet, too still. But Hudson trusts Rex more than the silence. The moment Rex steps out of the car, he pulls forward, nose low, tail stiff. Locked onto a scent that cuts through the ocean air, the team moves carefully. Sarah stays back to maintain communication. Charlie monitors the perimeter, and Hudson follows Rex toward the lighthouse entrance. The heavy wooden door is slightly open, as if someone wanted it that way. Hudson pushes it wider, and the hinges creak loud enough to echo through the empty structure. The inside smells of salt, old wood, and something faint, maybe metal, maybe oil, maybe danger. Rex leads Hudson up the narrow staircase, his paws tapping faster than usual. He stops halfway and growls softly. Hudson listens closely. There's a faint flicker of light coming from the top floor, just barely visible through the cracks in the wall. Someone is here. When they reach the top, the room is lit by a single lantern placed on the ground. Shadows stretch across the floor, making the room feel twice as big. And in the center sits the same empty chair from the video. Only this time it isn't empty. A rope hangs loosely from one armrest, and beside the chair lies a final metal box larger than the others, sealed shut with a lock. Hudson doesn't touch it at first. Instead, he scans the room slowly, every sense on alert. Then Rex lets out a sharp bark, pointing toward a figure standing in the far corner. The person steps forward just enough for the lantern light to reveal part of their body, but not their face. A hood covers most of it, and the rest is hidden by shadows. The figure lifts their hands slightly. Not in surrender, not in threat, almost like an invitation. Hudson raises his gun, keeping his voice steady. "Stay where you are." The figure doesn't move. Instead, they speak the same distorted voice from the recorder. "You're late." Hudson's grip tightens. "Take off the hood." The figure tilts their head, then steps sideways toward the stairs. Rex barks again, ready to chase, but Hudson holds him back for a second, trying to read the suspect's body language. The figure turns, and for a moment, Hudson sees just a glimpse of their jawline, familiar enough to sting, but not enough to confirm anything. Before he can react, the figure sprints down the stairs. Hudson releases Rex. The chase tears through the lighthouse, echoing with running footsteps, snarls, and the thundering crash of the ocean outside. The suspect reaches the cliffside, racing along the narrow edge as the waves smash below. Hudson follows, calling to Rex, each step shaking the ground beneath them. The suspect jumps across a small gap in the rocks, but the footing gives way. They slip, fall, and barely manage to grab onto a ledge. Hudson reaches the edge and sees the person dangling over the drop. Rex barks anxiously, pacing along the cliff. Hudson kneels, stretching his arm. "Take my hand." The suspect's voice distorts again as they speak. This wasn't, supposed to end like this. Before Hudson can rescue them, the ledge breaks. The suspect falls into the raging water, disappearing beneath the waves. Hudson calls for search teams, but the ocean swallows the figure instantly. No trace. No body. Only the roaring surf remains. Back at the lighthouse, the team opens the final metal box. Inside lies a thick folder sealed in plastic. Old case notes, old evidence photos, printed documents, all tied to a case Hudson worked years ago. A case involving a criminal who vanished without capture. The symbol, the clues, the stage messages, it all points back to that single unsolved file. Sarah looks up quietly. "Someone wanted you to remember this." Hudson stares at the folder, the weight of the past pressing onto his shoulders. Rex nudges his arm gently, sensing the heaviness in the room. Hudson takes a slow breath. The criminal may have fallen into the sea, but the truth doesn't feel finished. This wasn't closure, it was a warning. A message that the story isn't over. As the team leaves the lighthouse, the final shot focuses on Rex looking back at the dark structure, ears raised, eyes sharp. It's as if he knows the case will return. The episode ends not with victory but with an uneasy calm. A mystery solved on the surface, but deeper questions still hiding in the shadows. This episode doesn't just close a chapter, it opens a new one. A chapter where Hudson and Rex must face ghosts from the past, enemies from the present, and challenges that will push their partnership to new limits. And the lighthouse stands behind them, silent, watching, waiting for the next move in the dangerous game that has only just begun.